Hello and howdy, ladies and gentlemen. Root Beer here with more of the 2003 Cayley paper put out by the University of Waterloo. We just did question 2 in the last video, and now we're up to question number 3. Question 3 says the integer 42 is, and then we have a bunch of multiple choice answers here. So an odd number, a prime number, a perfect cube, divisible by 7, and a perfect square. Okay? So each of these is a possible answer, but we need to narrow down which one is the only real answer. So you sort of have to be familiar with what these terms mean. An odd number is a number that doesn't end in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. Well, this number ends in 2, so it's not odd, it's actually even. So we know A is out. Okay. A prime number? Well, a prime number means it has no factors other than 1 in itself. And that's where we can grab out our handy calculator and we can start doing things like, well, if it's even, probably divides by 2. And sure enough, when I do 42 divided by 2, I get an integer back, 21. So I know B isn't the right answer. It's not a prime number. Okay? So what's C? Well, C is a perfect cube. Okay? So there's a couple ways you can do this one. If you have a calculator that has a cube root button on it, I do. I can do the cube root of 42, and I can get about 3.4760, but a perfect cube, if I do a cubed root, I should get an integer back, and I don't. I get 3 something or other. Now, if you didn't have a calculator, you could still do A and B, but a perfect cube, well, it's hard to do a cube root. So if we were having troubles with this, we could always say, well, 42 isn't that big a number, so is it 1 cubed? No. Is it 2 cubed? No. Is it 3 cubed? And remember what cubes are. They're 3 times 3 times 3. This is 2 times 2 times 2. 4 cubed, of course, 4 times 4 times 4. We get 27. That's not it. 64. That's not it. And 42 should be somewhere in here. So that tells me that the cube root of 42 is 3 point something. Okay, and so I know that C is not the right answer. In the same vein, one of these other ones, I think it's E, is it a perfect square? So we can either use the square root button on our calculator, or we could list out the first few squares, which hopefully you have some familiarity with, or you at least know how to calculate them. Because we have a 2, we do 4 times 4. We got 2 copies of 4 being multiplied together. So that's 16, 25, 6 squared is 36, 7 squared, that should be 7 times 7, 2 copies of 7 multiplied together, 49. And 42 isn't any of these. It should be somewhere in here. So square root of 42 should look like 6 point something. But a perfect square has to have a square root that's an integer. So I know E is also not my answer. And I've ruled out everything except D. So D should definitely be my answer, divisible by 7. But of course, I can either use long division or grab my calculator and say, well, 42 divided by 7, oh, that's 6. I did get a nice integer out. So it is divisible by 7. So our answer is D. So 7 divides 42. And our answer is going to be D. And that's question number 3 on the 2003 Cayley. Join me in the next video as we take a look at question number 4 in the same contest.